girl and your friends bad too. Oh, you got the swag, saucy drippin' swag goo.
What's happening, good folks? My name is Aubrey Brown, and I am the host of Shop Talk. And today, since it is International Women's Month, we got the ladies in here. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hey y'all, I'm Giovanni Ayers, a senior political science concentration and pre-law major from Columbia, South Carolina, and I humbly serve as the Student Government Association president for this academic school year.
Hello everyone, my name is Ariel Robinson. I'm a senior biology major with a minor in chemistry from Greenville, South Carolina, and I currently serve as the CAB president.
Hey everyone, I'm Richland Williams. I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I am a graduating senior majoring in speech pathology and audiology, and I currently reign as the fearless 85th Miss South Carolina State University.
Hey, and for me, to you all, we would love to welcome you guys to the shop. And I just love so much, we got the graduating seniors.
Okay, period.
But with that, let's go ahead and get into the questions, you guys. How has your HBCU experience through your 4 years impacted you as women on this campus?
Who wants to start off? I'm not gonna try to make this long. I'm trying to keep it short. I think my experience is kind of different from a lot of people's. One, because I'm a female president, and I'm a two-term, so that's one thing. And I had I had older siblings come before me, so my whole 4 years it was always me being compared to them.
Okay.
So I kind of battled with that the first few years of being on campus, and then by one point I was like, man, bump it. I'm not them. I'm Giovanni. I'm not Jalen. I'm not Jawan. Stop calling me their little sister. I have my own path I have to make for myself. But I will say, coming in, I wasn't as focused as I needed to be. I did lose my scholarship freshman year. Came in on a full ride, lost it. Then I had to figure out, girl, if you don't get your stuff together, you gotta go. So, I think my sophomore year I had a 2.5.
Okay.
And my dad was like, if you don't get it up, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for the people that we have on campus. Like, there were some tough conversations, and there were some times I had to just look in the mirror and say, Giovanni, you need to grow up. So it was having hard conversations with Miss White in Honors College. Yeah. It was hard trying to have conversations with Dr. Bruce and SSRP. So having people like that in your corner, but also telling you need to get your ish together, or you're going to leave. Even though I really wasn't on academic probation, I was on it with Honors College. And then at one point, they just snatched it away from me. So at that point, I had to realize that, Giovanni, you need to grow up. You can't keep relying on people to do stuff for you, and you're not doing it yourself. You got to want it for yourself. So I'm grateful for the relationships I cultivated on campus. And also with even being a female SGA president, there was times I had to be like, okay, mama and daddy can't save you right now. You decided to run for this position. You decided to be here. Now go in that board meeting, put your big girl panties on, and do what you got to do to advocate for the students. So I had to grow up, and I'm grateful for, like I said, I'm grateful for people who were in my corner to tell me, you need to grow up. You need to get your shit together. Dr. Jackson, of course, had hard conversations. I used to cry in her office. But like I said, I'm grateful for those women on this campus that helped me realize my worth, one, and two, realize that it's okay not to be okay. I know me and Richland talked about that. It's okay not to be okay. And have those long conversations, because even as females, we try so hard to put on this facade like, oh, I'm a big badass. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and realize that deep down, you not okay, girl. Stop trying to put on this thing where this face like, oh, I could do this, that, and the third, and then realize, trying to figure out why you in your room crying, drinking half a bottle of Tennessee Honey Jack. Right. But like I said, I'm grateful for the people on this campus.
I can definitely relate to that, especially like in our department, because Dr. Sally, Mr. Golden, like a lot of people have truly helped me for real, And especially because at the time, like my freshman and sophomore year, I was like on scholarship and stuff, So like I remember like it wouldn't pay for everything, So like having to find like more scholarships and stuff like that, because I am a first-gen college student. So like my parents didn't really know much about a lot of the stuff, So I was just trying to find my way. So those two especially, because I felt like at some points like, dang, I got no money, so they ain't finna keep me here. So, honey, you can't be smart as you want to, but if you ain't got no money to pay for that stuff, you can't hang it up,
Right.
So they really, truly helped me, like, financially, mentally, especially Dr. Sally. I remember going to her office one day, and I was just panicking because I just didn't know, you know. And just my classes were stressing me out. I had freaking Dr. Himidi. I love you, but Dr. Himidi, your class is hard.
We don't love you, Dr. Himidi.
And I just went to her office and I just broke down, you know, and she was just telling me, like, I don't know why God is telling me this, but she just had a whole entire sermon for me, y'all, and it was just beautiful, you know. So like, I feel like having those women professors, especially, like telling you, like, hey, you're a black woman, you're here for a reason, you know. And I see something in you that you may not see in yourself. So those two especially have really helped me. So I can definitely relate to that for real.
Okay. So just repeat the question one more time. So I know that the answer I'm going to say is going to align with what you said. Okay.
Okay, so the question really was, how has your HBCU experience impacted you as a woman on this campus?
Okay, so coming in my freshman year, like I came from a high school, a PWI high school, and even so, it was because it was like, okay, well, you know, I need for Richland education to be challenged, I need for her to be challenged in the classroom, okay. So then it was like, okay, well, hearing, about South Carolina State was just like, whoa, you know, like state is a party school. And then ended up coming here and seeing that things were different. However, like, I would say that my HBCU experience transformed me as a woman because it just helped me to appreciate myself as a black woman. Because I honestly thought that I was as black as black could get. Like, I just thought that, like, either I was the half, like, black, half white situation, you know what I mean? Like, how people are like, oh, one thing, one to the other. And so being here and being around nothing but black people, I couldn't do anything but appreciate being black. And even so now, I can't appreciate anything but being black, because my HBCU has helped me to appreciate, like, the struggle we go through, honestly. Like, nobody else experiences that. The things that we're having to fight on so early is just building us and molding our character. Even though, don't get me wrong, I would say the HBCU experience also showed me a lot of ugly truths about myself. And I say that because, like Giovanni said, coming in and just like, okay, cool, especially if you have a strong head, which I would say all three of us do. You come in with a set plan and set intentions, and you're just like, okay, cool, you know what? And a lot of times, as females in positions, instead of thinking 10 steps ahead, we think 25 steps ahead. And so it helps us, but it also hinders us, because it's just like, if we have to end up changing our plan, it's like, it's not the end all do all, but we want to make sure that, okay, this didn't work out, but let me find a different way. And I think that being at HBCU, and especially as a woman, I would say we're women in power, being in this position, it's just a lot of things that we just have to face, like us being a perfectionist, or us thinking we can do it all by ourselves, or even asking for help in general, and literally every aspect. Like, it's a lot of things that we don't necessarily know how. It's not that we don't know how to do, but what I will say is that HBCU shows you your strengths and your weaknesses, and as a woman, definitely your strengths and your weaknesses, because no woman I know has walked into, specifically South Carolina State, being the same woman once she graduates, you know, because there's a lot of things that you just learn to appreciate about yourself, and it's crazy because a lot of things that you end up appreciating about yourself are insecurities you probably had your freshman year coming in. So it's transforming all of us for the better, hopefully and prayerfully, but it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
But I will say, I think that's the beauty of it, though. Because honestly, I don't think you could go, and not to knock any other school that's PWI or whatever the case is, but I don't think you could go to a PWI and get that same experience that y'all have had. And I know a lot of people look up to y'all on campus, so I'm really grateful that y'all are here just spewing this knowledge, because it's really beautiful to hear your stories and hear your impact and see how you not only grew from where you were then, but how you're growing to move forward in your life. So that's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. But to move to the next question, what do you guys feel was your biggest obstacle in college that you had to overcome?
I'm gonna let it start down there first.
Oh, okay. My biggest obstacle is crazy. Okay, so I'm just giving this disclaimer. Okay, so let's just acknowledge the fact that COVID did happen. So I would say honestly, right now I'm facing my biggest obstacle of knowing how to ask for help in like general. when it applies to everything, because it's just like I said, coming in freshman year, don't get me wrong, I love state, but my love for state has grown. So just being, I don't know how to, right now I'm facing the fact that I just need to ask for help. Like, as far as just planning everything for the end of this position, or just planning things in general, or learning how to ask for help for the next phase of my life. Mm-hmm. That more specifically, because being in this position just taught me, you went all these months, like, putting added stress on yourself. If only you would have just asked for help, things would have been differently, or the weight wouldn't have been as much. And so right now, as a woman, I'm learning that I just need to ask for help in everything. And not in general, like, oh, I can't do it by myself. It's like, you can do it by yourself, but if you don't have to, then why do it, Right. So that's honestly the biggest thing. I'm facing the obstacle right now. Like, you're getting live footage in the midst of it, because, I feel like for me, my obstacles tend to come when transitions tend to like about to happen. Yeah, like when those transitions about to happen, it's like, oh wait, everything you got to work on hits you at one time. If you haven't addressed it throughout the 4 years, so that's it. Ask for help.
I definitely agree with that. And we talked about that at the Queen's Talk, because oh my gosh, like, that's something I really do struggle with, asking for help. Because I feel like I just have to do everything on my own. I feel like if I ask people, they're going to be like, oh my God, like, why is she asking me? So I just be like, well, I'm going to just do it myself and just keep pushing, And I think the second thing that I really have to, I feel like I say I've tried, but I know I don't be trying. But learning to say no. Because I'm so big on like taking on all this stuff, knowing that I really don't need to. Like right now, I've had such a busy week, and like my granddad just died on Sunday. So it's like I've been doing all this stuff to keep me like distracted, and I know that I shouldn't do that because it's not like healthy for one, So it's like I've been taking on all these extra tasks. Like, Eric, can you do this, can you do that? Yeah, okay, whatever. But I know I need to like sit down and just be by myself for a little bit, and I haven't had enough time to do that. So those are my two biggest things.
Does having your leadership position kind of add to your added stress of asking for help? Like when you need to ask for help, like, oh, I shouldn't be asking for help because I'm...
Yes.
Oh my God.
We can ring a rock.
As soon as we got
to ring around the road. I was going to say, that's a whole other question. I know for me, I've become this person of trying to please everybody and prove something to everybody. And I feel like that has been my biggest obstacle, is being SGA president. And like I even said at the beginning, I was trying to prove that I'm not like my brothers. I mean, one of my brothers was SGA president. The other one was battalion commander in RTC. So they already left their footprints on campus. And now it was my turn to leave my mark on state. And I was just trying so hard to not be Jalen and Jawan. And I think to this point, and that's why I'm so tired and stressed out and burnt out as SGA president. Like now, I'm 50 days away. I have a whole countdown in my room because I'm ready to go. But it's because that I put so much on myself when I didn't have to, because that's what you have people on your board for, one. But also, I just tried to prove so many people. Try to prove something to them and also please them. And there was, the board of trustees didn't elect me. The faculty and staff didn't elect me. Why am I sitting here trying to please myself to y'all? The students elected me, and I'm sitting here adding on extra stress for what? I'm not your yes man. I'm not your yes man, right? Y'all didn't elect me. So I'm sitting here trying to get approval from the wrong people. And another obstacle, I was seeking validation from the wrong people too. And I had to realize, and I'm grateful for the females we have on campus. Dr. Berry is one. Ooh, Dr. Berry is a heavy hitter. Shout out to her. Shout out to Dr. Berry. She's a heavy hitter. And we will go to the Hill. It's a Bible study off campus at Cornerstone. And what you seeking validation from the wrong people for? God is the only person you need to be seeking validation from. And that was like the biggest obstacle that I had to face while being here. It was so bad that I would drink myself to sleep. I'm going to be honest. Everybody talk about Olivia Pope and drinking wine and eating popcorn. And I told y'all this, y'all. My go-to was wine and chocolate donuts. That was just my thing that helped me cope. Literally, I wouldn't eat anything else.
just drink wine and eat chocolate donuts. That was just my thing.
Right.
And I gained so much weight, y'all, but that's, ooh, child, that's besides the point. But I think that as women, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation, we have to stop trying to seek validation from people, one, that's not going to mean nothing to you in 6 months.
Right.
Who's not going to mean nothing to you in a year, that's 5 years.
Maybe 3 months, hell.
No, seriously, even next week.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we get so caught up in the college experience, or we get caught up with this person and this group and this party trying to be seen and stuff. For what? You don't even know if this person gonna graduate with you in May 6th.
That's the game.
That's the game. And I feel like, and even with us being in the positions we are, we have to go ahead and start teaching some of these young ladies now, because they can get caught up. Because I mean, we all came in together, and let's say how many of the people we were with freshman year are still here with us the senior year, because they got caught up in stuff that they didn't. One, they didn't need to be in. Two, they got caught up with people. And let's just be real, they're not here with us. Why?
Right.
Because they were seeking validation. They were in the wrong groups and they were in the wrong crowds for what?
Right.
For a moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my biggest.
What was your question?
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, does your leadership position add to the stress of people asking you for help, or because they're supposed to be looking to you for leadership and stuff like that?
So, I would say it does add to the stress. And when I say it adds to the stress, so coming in freshman year, like I said, I really didn't, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know who I was at all. And so it was just like, okay, all right, you know, like I kind of like stayed, not really sure. And this is a new environment for me, but I'm just gonna see what works, if that makes sense. So, in my head, I was thinking, okay, once I found what works and what people like me for, let me just do that, because, you know, that's what people like me for. And so little did I know, it caused me to put up this wall that literally I am in the process of taking down brick by brick, because it's you have a dilemma of who you are versus who people want you to be.
Right.
And so when you say that, you mean as in, like, oh, everyone hearing this conversation can have sympathy towards it. But in the process of you needing us, it's not always taken into consideration.
Right.
And saying that in every aspect, and personally, I can speak for my sector, there's just this expectation that, oh, the queen is supposed to be the one who's uplifting everyone else. It's supposed to be the person who's setting the example for the community, setting the example for the women on campus, really representing the femininity in the university and what they have to offer. And it's like, does any of that incorporate Richland? And the reality of it is just like, no, even though people know you make mistakes, no one wants to hear about your mistakes. Even though you may not be okay, they want you to be okay for the moment in which they need you. It's a lot of things that people don't take into consideration. Just one, being a woman, or in general. And the crazy part is it's crazy because a lot of times I commend Giovanni, because it's a lot trying to be a female in a quote unquote man's position.
Right.
In the sense of, the only difference I would say is that for a man, it's never, being in the position is not a power struggle anymore, because I officially stand my dominance over you. You acknowledge the fact that I'm over you. With a woman, you're fighting for your dominance in general, and you're trying to push your agenda. So it's like, even so, how are we supposed to do that? How are we supposed to fight one battle when we're fighting something that doesn't even have anything to do, you know, with what we're trying to do? Well, I'm stop talking. I can talk about it.
Y'all, I'll just say this too. Y'all talk. Like, this is a free space.
Yeah.
Y'all talking. You feel something, say it.
And to Richland's point, even with being in a position as a female, you can't show emotion, because then you're a angry black woman or you come off that way, or you're showing too much emotion and you care too much, or you're putting too much thought into things. And I'm like, but that's who I am. You can't tell me I can't do that because you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
You can't, and that was my biggest thing. And I'll get text messages, like I'll be in meetings, board meetings, and they'll be like, I think you should tone down your attitude, or I think you should do this. If she said my name wrong, she said my name wrong. I'm going to correct her.
Right.
Like different things like that. And they'll be like, well, I didn't like your tone just now.
Right.
That has nothing to do with me. Take that up with the Lord. That has nothing to do with me, literally. But I feel like in these positions, we're always corrected, or someone's always quick to say, oh, watch your tone, or oh, like they were always just easy to pick at different things. And it's like, well, what can I do?
Right.
Am I just supposed to sit here and stand here and say something when y'all want me to say something?
Right.
Or y'all want me to agree with you? And that was the other thing I feel like being in this position. They want us to agree with them when they want us to agree with them. And then when you disagree, oh, all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
Y'all didn't elect me.
Yes.
The students did. But I feel like, and I had a conversation with someone, she's a United Nations ambassador, Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield, and she told me, because she was sharing the experience that she had with another country, and they were fighting for women's rights and different things, and she started crying in the middle of it.
Right.
And someone mentioned to her, was like, you need to stop, you need to get it together, stop showing all this emotion.
Right.
And she was like, how dare you tell me I can't show my emotion to something that's happened to females across this world.
Right.
And she told me in that instant, she said, don't ever allow someone to tell you to tone down your tone, or to not cry in a meeting, or to not show emotion.
Right.
She said, because that's not fair. That's how you feel in that moment. And if they have a problem with it, take it up with God.
Right.
Yeah, facts. I agree with everything they said. Literally, y'all took the words out of my mouth. Especially with the whole, like, that's one thing that really bothers me. Like, you'll say stuff and you may speak your mind, but they'll be quick to tell you to be quiet. Like, what? You want me to sit here and be a hush puppy the whole time? Like, I'm not yours, man. You know? So that's definitely that's my biggest issue. But I feel like with regards to my position, I feel like it's more so, like, pleasing the students, you know? And giving them what they want. You know, because like I feel like during homecoming that was like my biggest like struggle, you know, like for instance like with the artists and all the other stuff, and it's like you hear like all this backlash and you're like, dang, y'all, like, oh my gosh, you know. So it's just like, I don't know, I kind of don't know how to handle that yet. I think that's something I'm still like learning to handle. I just honestly just my board, like they're there for me for the most part, so like we all just take it together who we are a team, even my committee chairs. So that's when we just go through together. But the students, yeah, I feel like that's my biggest thing. Like the students, like, okay, if I'm not having enough meltdowns, or if we don't have enough parties or something, they're just never satisfied. And I don't know. I love y'all. No, I'm not backlashing y'all. I love y'all. I think that's what I'm putting in this position. But y'all hard to work with sometimes. But I wouldn't trade the position ever. But that's something I definitely like struggle with. That's my biggest thing.
And I was going to say, Ariel, to that point, I feel like that's just going to happen the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And we're just getting an early glimpse of it.
Right.
And I say that because people are going to be unsatisfied with everything you do. You could come in here with a green shirt on, and they're not going to be satisfied because they probably want you to put on a purple shirt.
Right.
Like, you know, people will never be satisfied with something that you're doing. But if you're called to it, then it doesn't matter what people say. You're going to walk in your purpose and do what you got to do.
Yeah,
Right.
that's good.
Yeah.
And to that point, I just say, man, it's really crazy because I've seen all three of you guys go through traumatic experiences through this year with student leadership. And one thing I do feel is vastly unfair is how people will judge you guys and they've never been in your shoes. So I do commend you all for the work you do.
Thank you.
With the next question, no, seriously, though, y'all do some great work, man, and I can't thank y'all enough for real.
Thanks,
Yeah, with the next question, who is you guys' biggest inspiration and why?
That's a complete question.
Yeah, I have a few.
Ariel, you gotta start this one off.
Okay. So, I guess like personally, my mom, for one, she's a single black woman, 3 kids, she takes care of all of us, okay? She does what she has to do. She's just headstrong, you know. I feel like she's very vulnerable at sometimes, and I love that because she allows that to be shown. Because you know, in society, let's talk about it. They say that Black women can't be vulnerable, we can't show emotions and stuff like that too, and she shows that. She shows everything. Well, you're gonna see the vulnerable side of Crystal, the happy side, the mad side. You're gonna get every single character, and she's not here. You know, she's who she is, and I love that. I just love just her independence and stuff like that. Just I feel like I love but I feel like she also shows the part too. You can be independent and you can do things without a man. You know, but also know that you need one. You know, not need one, but it's good to have one.
Right.
I guess you could say
That's
that
the
makes sense.
point.
Right. And then two, I'll definitely say Zendaya. She's very inspirational.
My future wife. Oh no.
I love her. She's very inspiring. I've been following her a lot since like when she first started Disney Channel and stuff like that. I watched a lot of her interviews and stuff like that too, and just the way she carries herself, just her intellect, everything is about her. She's doing a lot of big stuff right now, so she definitely keeps me afloat, I guess you could say, because we have similar stories too. Both of her parents divorced too. You know, the whole 9 yards. So she's definitely inspiring.
Yeah. I would say starting off, both are my grandmothers. I say that because I was not able to meet them before, you know, coming into this world. They both died before I was born, but I'm where I am because of them. And I say that both of them, they did not go to college to receive a degree or anything. So they kind of keep me motivated. Like I keep them in the back of my mind, like those long nights and taking the last tests and stuff. I kept them in the back of my mind, and I was like, okay, they're my inspiration. They're the reason why I'm here. They're the reason why I'm going to be the U.S. Attorney General, because they couldn't do it. Right. And there's so many other people who came before us who were not able to do it, but still fought their way to make sure that we are here where we are today. So both of my grandmothers, of course. My mom, and I say my mom because she is so strong, and she doesn't say much, but I sense so much from her. You know, she had 5 kids. Her mother died. She was the oldest of 6 at the time. She's only 19 years old and having to raise them, like, you know, help care for the family. She had to leave college, all of this stuff, all of that, and still found a way with 2 jobs, working in corporate America, working for church, have 5 kids, and still found a way to finish her degree.
That's right.
Like, you know, the fact that I witnessed that happen, knowing that she had all of this on her plate and she still made a way to finish something that she wanted to do, says a lot about, one, her being a Black female, and her literally setting the tone for me and my sisters. So I'm grateful to have her and see her in that light. So I'm grateful to have my mother and my grandmothers.
That's good.
Okay, so I would say there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. But I would say some that apply to my life currently, and just what I'm about to do and doing and all that good stuff. I would say my mom for sure. She has taught me that honestly, like, the sky is the actual limit. And I say that because a lot of times when I'm doing things that I'm just like, God, the only way this is literally gonna happen is if you provide a miracle. Like, yes, and it's crazy because every time it just shows up and shows out.
That's it.
But I just look up to her and her faith, because sometimes I could just be like, if you told me it was gonna rain and it's 100 degrees outside and it's shining and, you know, Orangeburg, even Miami, I'm gonna tell you, you're lying. You're lying. It's not gonna rain. But her faith is so strong that she knows when God wants her to move. And that's something that she's trying to instill in me, and that's something that she has instilled in me. And so I look up to her for her faith, her just unbelievable faith, honestly. And then professionally, I would definitely say Dr. Jessica Berry. And I say that because just coming from similar backgrounds and literally taking advantage of every opportunity and filling every space, and being unapologetic and not being afraid to be heard. That's something that she exemplifies. Because I would say for her to be such a voice, that lets you know that people who have like unbreakable faith are so inspiring for me. Because even when you go through what may seem like hell, somehow, some way, they still have a smile on their face.
Right.
And that's something that I aspire to have. Just accepting how life may go or may not go. Unbreakable faith is just something that never changes. So, yeah.
Word. No, that faith thing is real. And shout out to my mom, because my mom's is definitely on the faith train. She believes so much, even with me being a troubled child, and through middle school and most of high school, and finally getting my life together. She prayed it, and I didn't have that. I never had it all figured out. She prayed it, and God was like, there it is. So I love that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. But with the next question, how do you all see yourself impacting the world in the future? Or what do you believe or hope will happen?
I don't think we're ready.
And it's crazy that you said that because Pastor Sarah Jakes said that in one of her messages.
Oh, wow.
Literally, she said that, I don't think they're ready. If they thought I did something here,
Right.
just wait.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't mean to talk first or anything, but that just makes me so eager and so excited because it's just, I'm not gonna lie, we didn't know where state was gonna go. We didn't know where state was gonna go, and for us to really challenge ourselves to be put in a position where, honestly, you don't know what you're walking into, quite honestly. And for us to put ourselves in those positions and then be thrown several curveballs. Every day on a daily basis, and then still be able to produce what we gave. That is what just black woman magic, black girl magic. That is what it is about, honestly. So as far as just how do we plan it? What was the question? I'm sorry. I'm so excited.
You good. It's just like, how do y'all see yourselves impacting the world? Because you're giving so much.
I mean, exactly. It's like, how can no, but I'm gonna say for me, career-wise, I talk so much that I want to help others talk, like really badly. And I would say more specifically in ways that people don't really realize, like why they can't communicate or how important communication is. I'm one of those people, if I have a weakness, I want to fix my weakness, but then help someone else fix their weakness that they also have. That's similar to mine. And I say that because I'm still learning how to communicate properly. When I say communicate properly, communicate my needs, communicate how I'm feeling, and also just communicate just in general with people on a day-to-day basis. I'm getting better at it. Because, yeah, but I would say honestly, just being myself, I have noticed has impacted the world more than me having this crown. And I say that because how many people do you get in a student leader position who still is fighting to be themselves,
Right.
in the position? And so it's like, wow, okay, if I was able to do that, it's like, okay, well, how much further can I go? How much further can I go? Because it's like, dang, we've accomplished so much. Like, so it just can only intensify. Like, whew, just the energy in the room and y'all. Sorry.
That's it, though. That's it.
Repeat the question one more time.
How
We're killing the
do you see
game. We're
yourself-
killing it. We're killing it.
How do you see yourself impacting the world?
Because I definitely piggyback off of that. Because we've done so much here, you know. But I guess for career wise, I want to be a black. I'm going to be a black doctor. I'm going to be a black doctor. I want to become a pediatrician. So that's my aspiring goal. I don't know. I feel like that right there just says a lot by itself. You know, I want to be a black doctor. There's not a lot of black doctors. A lot of black female doctors, to be exact. You know. So I actually had a black doctor. He was a pediatrician, and doctor, oh my gosh, he was amazing. You know, he was just the best thing ever. So I just like that whole the whole medicine thing by itself just speaks a lot of it. It's very deep to my heart. I don't know. I just feel like just being myself, like just giving the world, giving the kids my full authenticity. You know, like, oh my God, my daughter is crazy. She's happy. She's excited. You know, and she's also pushing me to let me know that I can do this too. You know,
Right.
so I just feel like just being myself at the end of the day, that's the best thing you can do. I mean, it ain't nothing else to it.
That's good. I'm not trying to sound repetitive, but like they said, I mean, look at all the stuff we've done now. I just can't wait to see what I do later, but I know for me, whoever I impact or whatever I impact, I want to make sure that first they see that it was God before they see it was me.
That's good.
Because everywhere I go, I want to make sure that His light is shining in me and through me to other people. But with that being said, man, like I said, we've done so much now. I mean, like the opportunities that I have had and the opportunities I were able to do, and not even trying to quote or anything, I was on a summit for democracy with other people from different countries, and I mean, I just wrote a bill at 22 years old,
Right.
and that was only God. So I can only imagine what I'm about to do once I leave these groves and classic halls. Y'all think I'm on fire now? Just wait until I get out of the school, and I don't have no constraints. I don't have restraints or anything. I can do whatever I can. But also, and I say this all the time, I'm here to amplify the voices of other people. I'm not here to be the voice. I'm here to amplify their voice. So trust God.
Yeah.
I would definitely say, definitely trust God, for one. And then two, I would definitely say, just be yourself. When you get here, I hope you come to NC State. I mean, it's the best institution. But whatever institution you go to, don't be so quick to, I feel like this is something I kind of struggle with a little bit. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to still be crazy crackhead area at the end of the day. You're going to get the full, the high laugh, the high pitched voice. You're going to get it regardless. But just be yourself. Don't be so quick to try to adapt to your environment. I guess you could say, because just like Richland, I'm pretty sure Jamani can just relate to this too. But I came to a predominantly white school. So, I have that look. I can switch it up. So, be professional. But I can also, from my black people.
Code switch.
So, I feel like just be you. Wherever you come from, however you act, just be you completely, because the right people will come to you. You know what I'm saying? You won't have, just be you. You can be okay, because I get the rambling. I don't get the rambling.
I would honestly say, so I want to steal this from you, Mr. Barry. So if you see in this video, just added credits. But don't believe your fact is your truth. And when I say that,
Wow.
Because
That's good. I'm sorry. That's good.
but I had a lot of traumatic experiences happen to me in high school. And so that was my fact. That's fact. It did happen. But it wasn't the truth of knowing that it was not the truth. Knowing, when I say the truth is that was an experience, but it's not a lifetime. And the reason I say that is because even hearing the freshmen talk about what they talk about, I'm 21. I was born in 2000. I know that was 21 years ago, y'all. So I know it seems as though we've been through things, but these younger generations, they have been through things at a way earlier age than us. And things become a lot more real at an earlier age. And so the way that I may be feeling as a 21-year-old, to know that a 16-year-old can experience the same thing, it's scary. But for you to know that your fact isn't your truth is to know that whatever you're experiencing now in high school or middle school, whether you're being bullied, whether you just don't even want to be there no more, whether you, whatever you're going through, because 9 times out of 10, the average person goes through something. Is to know that that's not your truth and that's not how life is always going to be. Because if I could go back and change the hands of time and really know that life was going to be at the point that it is now, I would have not been so caught up in being stuck in the fact of what was happening and thinking that like, oh, this is like, even though I knew my destination was further than my high school, I just felt like emotionally the situations that kept reoccurring, I just felt like that was the destination for everything. Because the fact of the matter is, those situations were triggering. But knowing that life literally in the power of, I say three, because, you know, we got a year taken away from us. But to know that life can change so fast, is to know that whatever you're going through, honestly, is a temporary situation, and the things that your parents really do tell you about, listen, for real, listen. I know it might sound like they might sound like a broken record, or you might feel so misunderstood, but take it from someone who's already been through what you've been through. So that way you can have a new opportunity to rewrite your story in a different way. Because they tell you these things because it kind of reframes. It's like information that you didn't know, but if you would have known, you could have been who knows what. And that's the opportunity that parents, mentors, peers, your professors, your teachers are trying to instill in you is these life lessons that they have already been through, so that you don't have to go back down that same path, and so that you have the potential for even more greatness than what they had, you know? So yeah, your fact is not your truth.
That's
I
good.
want to put that on a t-shirt.
Yes,
that's all.
that's
I gotta use some.
Yes, that's
right.
It's real. It really is real. And it's crazy because, like, even hearing about just the things that occurred on campus, I know it seems like you're going through so much. And I know it seems like this is honestly what you're going to be going through for the rest of your life. But it's not. It's not. And I have to, and when you say what's the purpose, I feel like all of our all in a nutshell of what we all said was honestly to uplift people to be greater. Uplift people to know that they can do better than, they can exceed their own expectations. Because we are black people, and every advantage that we had or that we're trying to have is just like the bar is rising, and it just seems like for younger generations, it's just like, okay, well, I can go do nails or whatever the case is, or I could go do this, and I'm not saying that those, I call them secondary careers, unfortunately. Correct me in the comments if it's wrong. But those type of careers are perfectly fine because you're impacting people the same way. But this society that we're in is only going to continue to raise the bar. And we're already at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? And so it's just the reality of, I gotta have it all together. Then I got to have the apartment. I got to have the car. I got to take the trips. And it's just like, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Because although you're investing in your experience in these places and these experiences that you've tied to these materialistic things, invest in something that's going to literally add value to you specifically. Because I can guarantee you one thing. Chick-fil-A might have been able to pay me $10 without an undergraduate degree. But I'm just saying, if I decide to go back and work for Chick-fil-A, my personal value has gone up because of my worth that has been determined by a system that was meant to take me down. So, I'm sorry, y'all. Whew.
That's good.
Like,
So many t-shirt ideas.
Got me by the tear up in here.
That's good.
it's real. It really is. It's so real, y'all. It's real. Like, things happening so many things are happening outside of us that we don't even know about. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize this. This is my last comment. I didn't realize this until I spoke with this black guy who just got hired at this predominantly white middle school. And he was talking to his classroom. He had majority black boys because they put the black students in with the black teacher. And he was telling them, and the boys were like, well, why should I go to an HBCU, man? Like, I'm not trying to go back to school to be in school. I'm not trying to go back to school to be in school. Or I'm not trying to go back to be in school when y'all don't let me free. And he said, if you don't go there for any other reason, go there because you know you'll be safe.
Yeah. And I think, I think it's unfortunate that we have to think like that. Because literally, I do feel that if you go to any other institution, you aren't safe. And it's solely because this.
And that's the reality of it. And it's just, and that's a all the way around. That's a female, that's a male, anything, people of color in general. It's just go somewhere you'll know you'll be safe and when you're investing in yourself. So your truth is not your fan. And we're gonna patent a t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Wow. That's amazing. Again, I just want to thank you guys for coming, for real. And we're going to get into the last question today. I know y'all hate to see them leave. I do too. My goodness, I've had so much fun just really learning and hearing you guys' perspective of everything because it's really beautiful. Like, it is really beautiful. But to end everything off, if you could just speak, what does being a black woman mean to you?
In the society we live in, we are a minority.
Right.
We're females, and then we're black. So that's like a double standard against us or whatever. But at this point in my life, I don't care. I don't care what you all can tell me. I don't care what you, because I don't even use can't in my vocabulary anymore.
Yeah, my mom
Because there's nothing you all can tell me that I can't do.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, and that's why I love that quote so much, because as black females, you know, they tell us no to this, no to that. And even with me trying to be a black lawyer, you know, it's only what 7% of black people. Well, yeah, 7% of lawyers are black, and then 2% of those are women, black women. So it's like yes, you all will come up with whatever policy you can to keep me out from being a part of this conversation, or come up with whatever policy to keep me from doing this. Like, even we're looking at black women in the Olympics recently, and you telling them because of their natural hair they can't wear this cap or whatever, just to try to keep me from doing what I need to do. Why?
Right.
But you know what? It's not going to stop me though, because I'm going to still do it anyway.
Right.
So, like I said, this quote resonates with me the most, because whatever you all can throw this and that at me, but I'm going to still show up and do what I have to do. For not just for me, but my society, my people, the people who's coming after me.
You know what, Javon, I'm glad you said that, because honestly, I feel like, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like sometimes when we have that permanent seat at the table, we tend to forget where we come from. And I say that
Yes,
because
that's a good point.
Because you have the white black people.
yeah, because you're
forget.
using your positional privileges
Yes.
for yourself.
Yes.
And you're not using your positional privileges to uplift your own race. And I love the fact that it's a folding chair. Because one thing about it, you can pull it up when you want to, and you can also pull it back and remove it. But that also means you can put the chair somewhere else, or you can put the chair. You can bring the chair
that is so
back to your. You can bring the chair back to your house.
y'all.
Yeah, you can bring the chair back to your house.
Good.
Because you get what you need. You get what you need. We've all done this. We've all brought our seat up to South Carolina State University, and we know what we had to deal with. We know what we had to go through. But at the same time, we also had to politely get the chair and put the finger up and walk out like it's church, because of the fact that we have to take this knowledge and we have to store it elsewhere. We have to take a break sometimes. And that chair being able to be removed is either a break, or you taking that knowledge and applying it where you feel like it's going to be used the most.
That's so good.
Yes, and I say that
gosh.
because it's just like, honestly, we have created, and we could all say that we've created we've created positions for ourselves where we're surrounded by majority white people. And that's fine. But in the same breath of how we are specifically dedicated to catering to African Americans, we pull seat to get what we have to get and do what we have to do, but at the same time, know and believe that we're dangerous because we know how to take that information from that environment and apply it to our own. Yeah, because it's just like, why have to sit at a table where you're not wanted? I'd rather take my seat away and bring it back to my house and be able to know that I'm building my own table in the way that it should be built, in the way that I need it to be built.
And that's so, I'm glad you said that because, and I think it was, I don't know if it was Tyler Perry who said something similar, but even in that aspect with Tyler Perry, he was able to sit at this table. He got what he needed to now go and build a bigger table for him and black people. And I feel like as black women, we do that so much, and we don't do it for the credit. We don't do it to seek validation. We do it so much, and people don't know that we do it. And I feel like, oh my gosh, Rachel, you have said something. That's just so good. That's so good. And I always said that quote was one of my favorites, but I never looked at it in that aspect until just now. Like, that is so good because a lot of times we pull up, like you said, we're here now and we're getting all of this that we can from state. Now we're going to bring our chair back, because especially in 50 days, because I'm going to 50 days.
Okay.
I'm going to take that chair and then I'm going to pull up somewhere else, get what I need, take it back, and pull it up to somewhere else. And I feel like a lot of times I'm sorry, y'all, but that was so good.
Yeah,
that was so good.
And it has to be that way because if you think as black people, the only thing that we have to ourselves are the things that we create for ourselves. And if we're not creating these things for ourselves, then how do we expect for that knowledge to expand? And that's one thing that I can say as black women, I love that the culture is changing. Because it used to be about, oh, well, if I learn something, I learn something for me. I learn something to get ahead. I don't learn something with the purpose of uplifting others. I learned something in order to get 10 steps ahead of you. That's the way that it used to be. And I would say that because we ourselves weren't aware of it. We just used to being, we're competitive by nature, whether we realize it or not. And especially black women, I feel like we have the bar so high for ourselves that sometimes we don't know who we're competing against, but we feel like we're in competition. And you might not genuinely be competing against anybody else. Nobody else. But the fact that you, if you don't use the information you learn to uplift others, then then how are we supposed to succeed in general, especially as women? You know what I mean? Because as you can see, for example, being a realtor, that was, the Mary Jane of it all. That was John Doe. That was very much a scenery for only Caucasians. And then you have two shows that pop up with all black women selling houses. And then look at their backgrounds. Where did they all start? At a white realtor company, learning what they had to learn. And then they built the table for themselves. And so that's what it means to be a black woman. It means to take the knowledge, pull up your seat, pull up your foldable $8.99 chair you got from Walmart, and pull it up to the table, get what you need. And then you take your chair and you politely with your church finger walk out, and then you go build your own house. Because at the end of the day, like I said, the only thing there is for black people are the things that we created for ourselves. And when I say we created for ourselves, even though we have allies, do not get me wrong, in the same breath, it takes even us sometimes having to work with them to make sure that we still getting the things that we need, because we don't have a seat. We ain't even able to pull up a seat at every table. You know what I mean? But we might know someone that does. And so for them to share that knowledge and for black women to share that knowledge amongst one another, that's what being a black woman is about. It's about creating a community that uplifts one another, creating a community that nurtures one another. Because even when you hear now with TikTok, I feel like TikTok honestly is a source that conveys the same information we've already known in a newer way. And the reason I say that is because you hear so many girls like, oh yes, because I'm going to go support her because she do lashes, I'm going to support her because she do nails, I'm going to go support her because she does body massages and all this and all that. And it's like we're creating this community to nurture ourselves with information, with materialistic things, with spiritual things. That's what being a black woman is about. It's just an abrasive community community that's uplifting one another.
And Richmond, that's so good. And I have to go back to, even with the whole folding chair thing, that is also, you could use that in the aspect of even relationships.
Ooh.
Because I think a lot of times we get so caught up in having to try to be loyal to this person. And it is okay to learn that you have outgrown certain things and people. And I think as Black women, we get so caught up in trying to stay in this relationship, whether it's platonic or not, however you want to look at it. We try so hard to make this friendship work, or we try to make that work, and it's okay. You outgrow things and people. So even in the aspect of pulling your chair back and going to this table, it's okay because people are there for a season.
People take it so hard. You're right, Giovanni. And the crazy part is, people take it so harshly. Well, honestly, it should be looked at as in the fact of, you might be friends with someone, but I don't mean you're going to invite them to your house. So when you pulling that seat back, from that friendship or that relationship or whatever it is, you're not saying, oh no, I can't speak to you any longer. You're just simply saying that I no longer feel comfortable being in an environment that is sacred to you. I no longer feel comfortable being somewhere that honestly is not serving me and is not serving you at the same time. But that does not mean that I won't speak to you. That does not mean I won't be cordial.
Or we're in competition.
Or we're in competition. And as Black women, it's just everybody else is our competition. Why make competition amongst ourselves?
Right, exactly.
You know, why make competition amongst ourselves? And so many people, so many things have tried to do that and divide us. The music industry tried to do that. And
With colorism.
Even when and that folds over into so many different things of how different traditions and whatnot started. But the truth of the matter is, although it may appear that way to the world, behind closed doors, we were still each other's support system, and we were still each other's nurturing community. Just to give like an example, would be back during segregation, with you being light enough to pass for white. Still, even so, you had a Black family, or you had a black female community that still uplifted you to be the woman that you were, that still nurtured you to be the woman that you were. And although you might now have positional privilege due to, you know, your skin tone or whatever the case is, you still use that to help others. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that as women, it's okay. No one's mad at you, Felicia. If you make it $120,000 out here, if you open up your own business and you're a multi-millionaire, no one's upset at you for that. But what we are upset at you is that you had an opportunity to provide jobs to people that were in your community who wanted to seek for more. You had an opportunity to offer business classes to people who are not as knowledgeable about building their own business. You had an opportunity to give back. And as women, that's what we feel a sense of due diligence to do. It's to give back. It's to give. It's to nurture. And not just, but to also nurture each other as women. Because like only men know what men go through, only women know what women go through. And it's just, and to say that we go through so much and we're expected to be the backbone for so much, we have to build that community, because not even Michelle, as First Lady, could do it alone. You know, she still had to have her community. Not even Oprah, who seemed like she got life together, she still does not do it alone. She still has a nurturing Black community, but she uses her positional privilege to help others.
Right.
But it's just a matter of you knowing what your purpose is as a woman. Like I said, is to provide that nurturing community. And you living out it in that purpose.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. And I know people always talk about seeing the finish line but never seeing the journey. So I do think that if a lot more people saw the community that surrounded those successful people, and even you guys, it would be more inclined to understand why you guys moved the way you moved.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
say that I say that because although this is gonna speak on everything, although we may only have 50 days left, something inside of Giovanni, something inside of Ariel, and something inside of myself is still trying to figure out and still wanting to nurture this community that I'm about to lead.
Right.
It's still trying to
It's
figure out.
still in me.
Yeah, it's like you feel compelled. You feel compelled to wanna help, to wanna give back. And it's just like, this don't even got nothing to do with me after May 6 o'clock. It don't have anything to do with me.
But see, that's the beauty of the photo share that you referred to. That even though you may be moving on, you can always come back.
Right, exactly.
That's the one.
Another good point.
That's the one.
That's the known fact.
That's good.
Oh my gosh, y'all just
Yeah, I'm.
y'all just made me look at that quote in a whole different way.
Listen, she was spitting bars. But that's the truth. You can always come back. Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, man.
So hopefully everyone from SC State, with that being said, if you're an alum or if you're a student who's about to graduate, just make sure you come back and give back.
Definitely come back and get back. Shoot, it's yours. All this is for you guys. So definitely come back. Definitely support. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming today. Y'all really warmed my heart. And even though I have an astounding love for black women already, because my mom and what she taught me, y'all made me love it. And just learning. Oh, man.
Waves I rise up in spite of
Clap
the
it for black women.